Diaz Gunners Collective. Back at it. You already know. Like a motherfucking smack addict, right? And as you can tell by today's thumbnail, yes, indeed, we're talking about girls that are gangsters. Gang members, things of that nature. And in a direct fashion, we're going to get straight into it. It's just another crazy Sunday. Wish it was Monday. Nah, fuck that. I don't wish it was Monday because that's back to get to work day. And we ain't trying to do all that. At least not right now. Anyways, trip out. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. We're going to talk about gangster girls, gang members. See, in my neighborhood, when I grew up, there was only a couple of them. There was only a few. There was a sprinkle me, man. Sprinkle me. There was only a handful. Not really girls that were really involved in the mix, but they were always around. You know, women play a hard game. It's a hard game, but you don't know where they keep it straight. Huh. Guess what? That's how they operate, right? That's how they keep it straight. That's how gangs function. There's always going to be women involved in this world. Women make the world go round just like men do, right? It's tit for tat. It's partners. It's pairs. It is what it is. If a man is out there being a gangster, best believe a woman, equal opportunity, can be a gang member too. Okay, as you can see by the thumbnail, the hyena with the big S8 on her face, she got the big 1-8. She's representing. You know, some people look at that picture and they say, man, she's a damn fool doing that to her face, messing her fucking features all up. But Sasuke, she's probably dedicated to the cause, or at least her old man is. And one crazy night he said, Sasuke, that was a good one. Hey, now let me get my get backs. And sass, you know what I mean? Next thing you know, she's all tatted down. Whatever the case may be, you got to give respect to these women that have been doing it for decades, for a long time. You know, traditionally down south, you'll have a lot more hyenas that get involved in the mix because of their old man. They actually got clicas down south of just women. And I know we did have some up north as well. I remember there was the Rambo girls in Modesto that were out there running their little thing and were notorious. You know, you didn't want to get in their mix. Of course, in Fresno, they got Fresno Bulldog hyenas that are really representing out there in a bulldog fashion and doing their thing. MS has a lot of hyenas that are involved. I know as far as my neighborhood, like I said, there was a couple people that were involved, a couple hyenas, but not really necessarily. Now, one thing I say to people about these chicks is they can't be slept on. You know what I mean? The Sasuke will chop your print off. They ain't playing, man. If you think that a hyena ain't got no gangster in them, then you're fucking confused. Because every woman got a little bit of G in them, you know? At the end of the day, man, you respect your mother just like I respect my mother, man. And you respect her because I was scared she got a little bit of G in her. She ain't playing, right? She brought you into the world. She'll definitely take you out. That's how it goes down. And the same thing happens with these women, man. A lot of people, they get the perception, men do especially, that these are women, they're weaker than us, they can't do this, they can't do that. But Sasuke, they know how to Bangladesh with the best of them. In fact, I've met women that are. Let me tell you a story about a chick named Jackpot, right? This chick Jackpot, she was an Africana, she was well known out of the Oakland area. It was about hers. And I remember my tia used to be in and out of Valley State Prison for women, in and out of Chowchilla. And she used to tell me stories. Now, my tia being from Merced, man, was no joke. She had hands like a man. In fact, if there was any type of confrontations with men, she would easily get involved and pretty much put this guy on his back. She was no joke. Shout out to my tia, man. She knows who she is. She's fucking notorious, right? She's the kind that when she comes around, motherfuckers go in their houses. They don't want that funk. They don't want that. They don't want to get spunky with someone who can get real funky. It's just what it is. But she used to tell me stories. So she got out one time, we're chilling at her pad. And, you know, my aunt's old school. My aunt's really old school, kick back. You know what I mean? So I get, don't. So when she tells me stories, I listen because there was always some education involved and some stuff that could indoctrinate it in my mind and stuff I could run with. And, of course, I downloaded it in my CD-ROM so that later on I would know what the game was. So she was like, look, mijo, there's this hyena when I was in Chowchilla named Jackpot that was running the whole yard. And I said, well, what was the get down with women in prison? What was the gangster makeup of it? And she said, most of the fights and most of the things that happened were over relationships. Women having relationships, women not feeling with each other because, you know, jealousy, things of that nature. There really wasn't no gang line. She said, now, of course, a lot of the girls from down south would come and they were clicked up with gangs such as Amante Flores, Florencia 18, things of that nature. Yes, these hyenas were representing to the fullest, tatted down and everything. But my tia being from up north, she said it wasn't really like that up north. Everyone knowing that there's no such thing as a norteña. There's hyenas that claim they're norteñas and wear the red suspenders, red hats, all that. But at the same time, man, that is never something that was put in concrete. There's no rules and regulations to that. There's no such thing. Okay, but hyenas will wiggle how they wiggle. Anyway, so she told me the story about this Africana Jackpot, man, out of Oakland. who was in there just notoriously knocking chicks out. And her whole thing was finding hyenas that said they were gangsters, said that they were gang members on the streets and testing their gangster. This is what she did. This is what she lived for. She was doing all day, every day. She had life without the possibility of parole. She had killed a couple vatos in a drive-by. And so she felt that if for no other reason, she was going to continue to be gangster, but she was going to test every chick's ability to be gangster or what they said they were. And she was notoriously known in there for knocking chicks out. Now, of course, one day she met my tia. Okay, and I'm not going to say my tia is all that, but like I said, she has hands of stone. So they met up one day, and they were both known on this yard. Okay, and it was known that, man, Jackpot had hands. She was going to do vicious things to vicious people at any vicious time. And that my tia wasn't going out like that. She wasn't in there trying to start no shit, but of course she was never going to take no shit. That's right off the top, right off the rip. And in Menudo style, my tia says she approached her and was like, what's cracking with it, man? I heard you're this, I heard you're that. And I don't know if, you know, and it's like this. When two gangsters see each other and they see that eye of the tiger, that thump, 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 thump. You could see it in someone else's eye, right? She looked in her eye and they became very close friends that day. They didn't fucking wolf on each other. They knew that they had met an adversary that was worthy. They knew that they had to respect their adversary and respect their enemy, because at the same time, man, both of them would get down, both of them would get off, both of them had hands, man. I don't think either one of them wanted that funk. So they became very good friends. And of course, my tia got into the fold and tried to pick her brain and find out what the reason was behind her testing these girls gangster. You know, and she said that she felt, she had made a lot of mistakes in her life doing what she did. She felt manipulated by the gang. She felt manipulated by her older homeboys and manipulated by the whole lifestyle that she went through. Of course, she had a bad childhood. So going through all this, she was taking it out and lashing out on other females that were going that route, basically trying to detour them. Like, look, this is what you're going to get if you keep doing that. I'm going to beat the fuck out of you, period. Plain and simple. You're going to meet someone like me and ding, 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 ding. I'm going to hit the jackpot on your ass. And so that's what she was doing. So my tia seen it for what it was and said, okay. So, of course, my tia tried to talk her out of it. And, of course, they became good and fast friends. And later on in the years, after doing so much time together, it seems like the hyena kind of calmed down, seen the light, and just started to do her time. You know, but that's the whole moral of the story is you meet real women that are real gangsters. Okay? Not everyone is to be slept on. You know, you think you see these hyenas out there and you're like, oh, look, she's just doing that because her old man's part of Florencia, ¿sabes qué? So she got the F-32 on her face. But that ain't always the case. Sometimes they're true believers of their cause. They're dedicated. Sometimes they really believe. You know, it doesn't take a man to dictate a woman's world at all times. Sometimes the woman will dictate her own. You know, and you can't stop her from being what she is. There's a lot of gangster women. You know, and through the years, man, like I said, in my neighborhood, there was only a handful, very sparse pickings, man. There wasn't much. Shout out to the homegirl, like Crazy Lazy, the homegirl Sad Girl, and the homegirl Payasa. That was about it. They were doing their thing. I remember the homegirl Sad Girl, man, very quiet and very known. You know, family very known in Merced. You didn't want no funk with her, man. You kind of just wanted to leave her alone, because if you try to get over on her and try to pick the run, the Sasuke Shikala brothers and bang bang is going down in a real way, in a real fashion. For those of you that know Sad Girl, she's from back in the days. A lot of you guys don't know Sasuke. You're too new school to know the old school. You feel me? We were on drops on Dayton's spinning, right? But then you had the homegirl like Crazy Lazy. And the respect factor is always going to be there for the rest of our lives. Of course, she got her shit together. She had children. She grew up. She became a parent. And that's what she was supposed to do. But at the same time, in the meantime, in between time, at the end of the day, man, back in the days when she was wiggling, wearing that motherfucking fedora with those suspenders and those Ben Davises rocking to the Cortezes, I'm telling you, man, motherfuckers didn't want that funk. There was guys that would be like, hey, what's cracking? Hey, Lazy's here? So, okay, I'll be back. Yeah, the air's going that way. I'm going to go over there. They didn't want that problem because just of the notoriousness that she brought. You know, when she came in the party, when she came there, you knew it was going down. You knew that she wasn't the one to be fucked with. If the guys had fucking something to say, she would get off on them too. That's just the way she was. That was her mentality. Of course, she was a super norteña. She represented the norte to the fullest. That's what she believed in. She was a true believer. Of course, she never got incarcerated to my recollection or to my knowledge. And I'm glad she didn't, because of course she ended up having kids and becoming a great mother, a wonderful person with a job, and got her shit together. See, that's one thing. Women can separate themselves from the politics and separate themselves from that because they're not really ingrained and involved in that. So eventually what happens is they meet some guy, they have kids, and they get their shit together, or they don't. They become spun out, pushing the 10 to 2 on the corner, and it is what it is. Everyone's going to run through them till there ain't nothing to run through. Bang, bang. That's just stating the obvious. Okay, but do I disrespect them or take anything from them and their gangster? No, I give them their chime, because at the end of the day, guess what? Them bitches are fucking harder than half the motherfuckers walking this earth. So let's get your tight ass pants and your Edgar. Stop it. I thought, what the Edgar? Fuck it. You know what I mean? Wobble, wobble. I see dig right to the nah. Fuck you. You see something, homes. You know what I mean? But it ain't this. So look, I just wanted to put this story out there about some women. You know, there's been a lot of women in this world that get slept on as far as some gangster shit. Now, let me tell you a little story, man. I've told it before on my old channel, and I'm going to remix it, right? I remember one day, me and a good homeboy of mine, we were on the west side of McNamara Park. Mac Park, for those of you that don't know, it's made famous by several rappers. But Mac Park, it's a notorious little park on the west side of Merced, right there off 10th and at 11th Street, 12th Street. It's all in that area, man. We used to be there back in the days, man, going dollar for dollar for dollar for dollar. We used to be out there slinging them rocks one time for our minds. Way back in the day. Statute of limitation, can't get me. Bang, bang. You know what I mean? I probably dropped more than I sold. Anyways, this was back in the days. We used to hang out there. And I remember me and the little homeboy, we were on our way there. We were mobbing, walking. And I seen a crowd formed at the park. Now, back in these days, before they put this little substation there and before they started to try to crack down on this park, man, it was pretty notorious. It was pretty wild. People would hang out there, like I said, man, they'd go rock for rock. People would set up shop, party. There was just a lot going down there. It was the middle and the central of where all the different gangs would hang out. You had M Street, you had the Ghetto Boys, they were just formulating. Of course, you had Dead End that would wiggle through there, 11th Street, 12 and a half. There was just a whole bunch of different gangs, old school, Barrio Merced, Rifa, would all hang out at this little park. And so we seen a big crowd. So we, hey, what the fuck's going on here? So yeah, ain't no fun that the homie can't have. No, so we said we're gonna go dip in and see what's going on. And of course, when we got closer, we seen that there was a whole bunch of chicks, a couple of dudes, more chicks though, more so. And there was a fight going on. So of course we dipped in. It was cracking, right? And I seen one hyena, a sureña, right? Or at least I thought she was. She had blue paño in her hair. She was wearing a Pendleton. You could just tell by looking. So this chick ain't from around here. She's from Los, straight up. And she was just moved in from LA. I got the backstory later, and I'm going to give you guys that. But anyways, she was fighting. There was a whole bunch of North Indians. She was fighting them one by one. She was wrapping their hair around her arms and just slinging them, throwing them everywhere. Okay, quietly as it's kept, somebody else was woofing on the other side. And all of a sudden, man, a melee broke out. Some guys started fighting. I was older at this time, so I was kind of just leaned back watching all these younger kids get into it, man. You know, did I sit there and try to break it up? No, and it was my bad for not breaking up the brown people from doing what they were doing. But at the same time, man, I was young. I was in the mix. I was active. I was gangbanging. I was like, get yours, homies. And they were handling their business. Okay? But what I can say is that hyena from LA, man, she was slinging them with the best of them. She was truly dedicated and a firm believer in what she believed in. I remember at the end, she actually grabbed a red paño out of one of the chick's hair, spit on it, threw it on the ground. I was feeling some type of way. I had to fucking grit my teeth and walk away. And then someone else jumped in the mix and did some bad shit to her. It was just bad, right? It was a bad situation all the way around. But it just goes to show you, and I tell this story because it always had a reflection on my mind. It always stuck and reverberated right there because I remember her dedication, the look in her eyes. She was a true believer in what she believed in. She was a sureña. There was nothing that could take anything away from her. She was down for her cause. Of course, she had moved in. She ended up being one of my homegirls, a good friend of mine that wasn't a gang member. It was her prima that had just moved from LA. Of course, she was just walking through the park, sitting on a Sunday afternoon. And some norteñas seen her, and of course, it went downtown like Julie Brown. You know, people was trying to hold on like in Vogue. And that was it. But there's a lot of women in this world. You know, they get caught up in the gangster shit, man. You know, we've all read things, we've all seen shows on Gangland, we've all seen shows about women that get caught up in gang situations and end up on the short end of the stick. Okay, because they want to become that. They want to be part of that. Like I said, whether their man is part of that or whether their homeboys or homegirls are part of that, they just decide that they want to be dedicated. They want to be in the mix. You know, maybe they like the stilo. Maybe they like the jerseys or the look. You know what I mean? But like I said, don't judge a book by its cover. You know, some of these times you think, oh, look, she's fine, Holmes. She fine as a glass of wine. She ain't going to do nothing. So I said, next thing you know, you don't have no print anymore. It's cut off. So I said, she's like this, ding dong, your print is gone. Your print is gone. You're like, fuck, ding dong, my print is really gone, right? It's gone. Make a like a high, make a hiney. Oh, all right. She cut that motherfucker off and did it pushing. Because you can't trust or judge a book by its cover. You never know. Some of these hyenas are gangsters when gangsters ain't really gangsters. That's just the way it is. Read between the lines and decipher that if you can. It's real game. So I just wanted to touch on this. I know it's Sunday, man. It's football day. It is what it is. We're about to get to the business and watch. Shout out to the 49er fans. You guys did your thing, man. I can't be mad at you. You know what I mean? Garoppolo looked like shit, but Sasuke, what do you think you're going to get from a porn star, right? Sasuke, but at the end of the day, your defense was on point. But yeah, women, don't sleep on them because like I said, man, there's several of them that are incarcerated because of notorious things that they've done. You know, so when people think, oh man, Highness ain't got no gangster, Highness can't be gangster, this is just a man's world, so let's get to man's world. We're the only ones doing it. Charlie, I'm here to tell you first and foremost, man, we are not the only ones. You know, equal opportunity deserves equal pay, right? And Highness are out there equally getting it. You know, they'll fuck your whole world off. Like I said, there's whole groups and cliques of just Highness, especially down south. Whereas up north, it's a little bit different. Not necessarily as much. There's some cities, man, I haven't been to, so I don't know. I know out there in Sanjo, they used to wiggle. The Heiners used to wiggle deep and handle it. You know, everyone knows the Heiners most notoriously are known for facilitators, man. You know, they help the men out. They're an intricate piece of the puzzle to what's going on in most gang sets, you know, but I don't know everyone's rules, regulations, and policies, so I can't sit here and tell you everything that they got going on with these chicks. But chicks are good facilitators, and that's just how it's always been in life. You know, but to think that they won't get down and wiggle on your punk ass, man, you got it, the game fucked up. These Hyenas will fucking peel your cap backwards, literally both ways. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you need to watch yourself and not judge a book by cover, not judge these women and think that they're not down, because they are. You know, there's a lot that are down. And so let's get back in the days, we like that shit. And I like it. Remember, it was a good look. You know, I remember the homegirls they used to have back in the 90s, used to have the big old fucking hair. And they used to be wearing the red sweaters. Sasuke, you can be my candy man. In the back of it, and I said, Sasuke, can I? You know what I mean? Everybody was trying to get involved. But I didn't sleep on him because I would see Highness fight. I would see Highness get off, man. There was a lot of things, man. There was this chick in Merced, in my town, that was known to, if you fucking came up in her mix, man, you might come up decapitated. You know what I mean? She wasn't playing. You know, too much cante. She was not playing. But either way, it was just someone not to be slept on. Anyways, with that being said, man, I hope that you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you get out there and get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, man, these are just stories that I tell to tell some real stories. You know, things that I've been through, things that I've seen, things that I've heard. And definitely, man, shout out to all the real women that are out there doing their thing with their familia. Those are the real ones, the ones that are out there taking care of the kids, doing the best they can. The struggle was real, I know, and a real man will struggle with you. The struggle will always come into victory, man, because you got to go out there and get it. For the ones that are out there living that notorious gangster life, man, that are really doing it, hey, my respects and my hats off to you. So I can't take it off because I'm bald, ugly, right? But my hats are off to you because you're doing what you do. At the end of the day, I know it's not right. You know it's not right, but you're going to continue to do it, man. And ain't no one going to take it from you. And for that, I give you respect. I respect people that are doing what they truly believe in, regardless if it's right or wrong, man. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to tell you what is and what isn't. I'm just telling you what was with me and what isn't anymore. Anyways, with that being said, like I said, move fast with a purpose. Go out there and hustle for your familia. Remember, first and foremost, it's all about the brown unity. Bring that raza together from the north to the south. Perros are involved. Sasuke, okay, maybe. But come on. Hurry up. Grab a leash. It's all good in the hood. You know what it is, man. This is the gun one time for your mind. Please like and subscribe. If you don't like this, see that it's very easy. Do one of these. Look. Thumbs down and do it pushing. Thank you for the view, man. At the same time, if you do like it, like and subscribe. We got stories daily. We're going to continue to push. Of course, I got a lot of new things getting involved. We're going to have more interviews. We're going to have more stories. We're going to get real interactive with the people. We're going to hit them streets, hit that pavement, make it happen. We're going to do a lot of comedy here, a lot of everything, because that's what I do. Anyways, with that being said, man, I hope you guys have a beautiful and a wonderful day. Keep that push going. Raza, you need to keep it going for the raza, because at the end of the day, we are all we got. Don't forget that. If you forget that, that's when motherfuckers see that and divide and conquer. It will never happen. The love affair is never over. Gun. Bang, bang.